This isn't a pandemic. This isn't 2020. This is the summer of 2025, and America's tourism industry is unraveling. Airports once packed with international travelers are falling quiet. Hotels are slashing prices. And cities that built entire economies on tourism are now watching the crowds vanish. No new virus, no travel ban, just silence, and millions of tourists who never showed up. In the last 6 months alone, over 3 million international travelers have canceled trips to the US. The result? A tourism industry on the verge of collapse, with experts warning of up to $100 billion in lost revenue by year's end. That's not just a downturn, that's devastation. Today, we're breaking down 7 US states hit the hardest by this growing collapse.
Shalom Israel, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rekah Kwadash. Yahweh is who the world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shai is his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and is no God beside them. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of GMS, or Great Millstone for short, for being faithful witnesses to the Holy Spirit, and salutations to the elect, whom the Lord hath given ears to hear. I'm a brother Khan from the GMS New Jersey camp, and today's lesson is going to go into an article I found entitled Several Countries Have Issued Travel Warnings for the U.S. And I just want to play that first video and pretty much just go through the various comments to show you that it's unanimous that, as it is written, shameful spewing shall be on her glory. Right? To where America would normally be the safe place to visit and other countries would be sketchy. It's kind of like reverse. So it says, several of America's closest allies are warning their citizens about traveling to the U.S. And what this also goes to show you is that slowly but surely, America is losing friends. All right. So it says for years, or it's losing its trust in its friends. I guess it's one and the same if you think about it. But it says for years, it was the U.S. that issued cautionary travel advisories to citizens heading overseas. But the rules have just been surprisingly flipped. According to Yahoo, multiple countries, including longtime allies like Australia, Canada, and the UK, are now warning their citizens about traveling to the United States. Men's Journal reported Australia updated its advisory in June, flagging gun violence, civil protests, and unpredictable immigration enforcement. While its guidance remains at level 1, exercise normal safety precautions, Australian officials urge travelers to stay alert in crowded places like malls, transit hubs, and public venues. They also warned about the visa waiver program, noting that the U.S. authorities can deny entry without explanation. New Zealand raises its alerts to level 2 due to a report of citizens being detained or delayed over documentation discrepancies. Canada follows suit, adding warnings about violent crime and mass shootings in major cities, including LA, New York, and Chicago. Canadian officials also highlighted drug trafficking near the U.S.-Mexico border as a growing concern. European countries aren't staying silent either. Germany, France, Denmark, and Finland all issue warnings about U.S. gender marker policies that may affect travelers who use X or non binary identifiers. Since January, entry has been denied in some cases unless travel documents match the sex assigned at birth. The UK took it a step further. Its Foreign Office warned that minor entry mistakes could lead to detention or deportation, and emphasized the variability of laws across different U.S. states. The consequences are already surfacing. The World Travel and Tourism Council projects at $12.1 billion decline in international tourism revenue to the U.S. in 2025, driven in part by these warnings. That's a serious blow to cities that rely on global visitors to fill restaurants, hotels, and attractions. Right? So, I guess we'll grab it since we're already here. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 14. Let me start at 15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbors drink, that putteth the bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. And again, this makes me think of how America's the one that's looking down on other countries, calling them shithole or third world countries, which, when you do your homework, they're the ones that solicited and then created, various problems for that country. But now the chickens are coming home to roost, as America's own president is pretty much bringing its garbage home. Thou filled with shameful glory, drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. Because this place was always a shithole, but now it's being seen as so. It says, let thy foreskin be uncovered, meaning let pretty much air out the dirty laundry of this place. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. Let's see what the NLT says. What sorrow awaits you who makes your neighbors drunk? You force your cup on them so you can gloat over their shameful nakedness. But, but soon it will be your turn to be disgraced. Come and drink and be exposed. Drink from the cup of the Lord's judgment, and all your glory will be turned to shame. So as this was one of the places to where anyone around the world would dream to come to, and maybe even, have a visa and stay for a little bit. Now that's not the case. Let's jump over to Isaiah 47:1. Come down, virgin daughter of Babylon, and sit in the dust, for your days of sitting on a throne have ended. And we're coming to that point, O daughter of Babylonia. Never again will you be the lovely princess, tender and delicate. Take heavy millstones and grind flour. Remove your veil and strip off your robe. Expose yourself to public view. All right, and the country's president tells you everything you need to know about that country. It tells us that in Sirach, the 10th chapter. And it's just pretty much time for this place to fall. Right? So where it looks like things are deliberately being done to make this place fall, ultimately it's of the Lord. Right? It's written of Babylon's fall, as you see the title of this chapter. You will be naked and burdened with shame. I will take vengeance against you without pity. Our Redeemer, whose name is Yahweh of heaven's armies, is the Holy One of Israel. O beautiful Babylon, sit now in darkness and silence. And as I read, also makes me think of I think that's Revelation 18. Reward her if she had rewarded thee. All right, and this place has rewarded us with shame. Painting us as the terrors and the problems of the earth. I'm talking about us, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So now the Lord is reversing the mirror back on you. All right, putting the light back on you. O beautiful Babylon, sit now in darkness and silence. Never again will you be known as the Queen of Kingdoms. For I was angry with my chosen people and punished them by letting them fall into your hands. Right? See, the Lord orchestrated the slave trade. You can find that in Deuteronomy 28:68. But you, Babylon, showed them no mercy. You oppressed even the elderly. You said, I will reign forever as queen of the world. You did not reflect on your actions or think about your consequences. And again, we just read in Habakkuk 2 what their actions were or are. Because best believe there are still proxy wars and economic hitmen, making moves around the earth. But it says, listen to this, you pleasure-loving kingdom, living at ease and feeling secure. You say I'm the only one and there is no other. I will never be a widow or lose my children. Well, both these things will come upon you in a moment. Widowhood and loss of your children. Yes, these calamities will come upon you despite all your witchcraft and magic. Right? People are actually seeing what's in the cup. Like it says in what's that, Revelation 17? Revelation 17:4. Revelation 17:4. The woman wore purple and scarlet clothing and beautiful jewelry made of gold and precious gems and pearls. In her hand she held a gold goblet full of obscenities and the impurities of her immorality. And as we get closer and closer to these last days, more truth is going to be revealed. Truth of how everyone is, the evil, that lays dormant in these people. But amongst the truth being revealed is going to be the truth of the degenerate, disgusting place this is to dwell in, which is America. It says a mystery name was written on her forehead, Babylon the Great, mother of all prostitutes and obscenities in the world. All right. And again, this is just a small inklet. Nevertheless, the people are seeing it, And call law to you. How about Shimmy Shot for DJ Trump? All right. Lord have him with his foot on the gas as he's only 6 months in. 6 months in. All right. Really now 7 months in. And look at all he's been doing. It's hard to even fathom that. You'd think he's been in even longer. All right. But that was pretty much it. I had other articles, but this article pretty much summed it up. So with that, shalom to the elect.